Dear student, myself K.M. Jha, lecturer VPMP Polytechnic Gandhinagar. I am again here with my new presentation cum video, which is from the subject Java Programming. Code of the subject is 3350703. Unit name is Building Blocks of the Language, and the topic that I will consider here is Data Types, Constants and Variables. This is part 2. Part 1 I have already completed in my earlier video. Now we will see the objectives. Now what are the objectives that we will complete after completing this video? The first one is type conversion and casting. Second is scope of variables and default values of variables which are declared. Wrapper classes. Comment how to declare that. In garbage collection. What are the uses of garbage collection? These are the topics that I will try to cover through this presentation. Next is, what is typecasting? Typecasting is when you assign a value of one primitive data type to another type. It means we are converting one data type to another data type according to the requirement of a program. So there are two ways in Java. By using that you can do the typecasting. The first one is widening casting and another one is narrowing casting. When we are talking about widening casting, it is done automatically. How it is done automatically? Because we are converting a smaller data type into a larger data type. And when we are talking about the narrowing casting, it we will have to do manually or explicitly because we are converting a larger data type into a smaller data type. Now about the type conversion and casting. When it is required, it is used when there is need to store a value of one type into a value of another type. Means whenever there is a requirement to convert one data type into another data type. For example, here the example is, suppose we have declared a variable having the value 5. I want to convert this variable integer m into a byte value. Then I will have to write here byte m. It means I am converting this integer m into a byte type. Here you can see, here I am converting the variable m which is having the data type integer into a byte type according to the syntax declared. You can see here the flow chart or the hierarchical structure is like this: from byte to short, short to integer, then long, float and double. This is how actually the process is going on from smaller data type to larger data type. This is the hierarchical structure. How we are converting and how the data type is converted from one to another. So when we are talking about byte, it can be converted into short, char, int, long, float, double, and similarly for the other data types also. For short can be converted into integer, long, float and double, because short belongs to the lower data type. Means when we are talking about, I said ki lower data type, it means the size is less. So here the loss of data is very less. Typecasting without loss of data from one data type to another data type. Char can be converted into int, long, float and double and so on. So when we are doing the conversion in this way, or when we are converting the casting in this way, there is no loss of data or without loss of data. Now about the automatic conversion, it is possible only if destination type has enough precision to store source type. For example, here you can see the byte b is equal to 75 and b is of the type byte, which is having a less storage space, less size. And when I am converting this into a integer, you can directly convert. So this is automatic conversion because byte is the smallest part of integer. So you can convert this b into a. A is belongs to the data type integer. So b is byte and we are converting this byte data type into int data type, and as it is from the lower to higher, and that's why this can be done automatically by the system. This is widening promotion, or this is widening typecasting. Widening typecasting, as I said, this is byte, b is byte and having the value 5. So we can easily convert this b into a integer data type. Similarly, when I am talking about widening, there is another typecasting also. This is narrowing. Here, when I am talking about narrowing, here one example is there: c is equal to 25.43f. So I am converting this higher data type into smaller data type, and that's why this is narrowing. This float is converted into int data type. Float C I am converting into integer, and that's why this is one of the example of narrowing type casting. So scope of variables and default values. When I am talking about scope of variables, there are three categories: instance variable, class variables, and local variable. You can see here, this is one of the example. This is class A. When I am talking about this integer A, this is global or class variable. And when I am talking about X, Y, and Z, this belongs to this opening and closing braces. So this belongs to local variable. X, Y, and Z, this belongs to inside the opening and closing braces. So this is local variable. They are having their limit up to this function only. But this variable A can be moved from this one to this one, means up to whole class. This variable A can be moved very easily, and that's why this is class variable. And X, Y, Z, these are local variables. You can see here the example. When this is x is equal to 0, this is block 1. It means this particular value x can be moved in the whole class. When I am talking about n is equal to 5, this can be moved inside this block only. And m is equal to 10, this can be moved inside this block 3 only. So these two are example of block 2 and block 3. These are example of local variable, and this is example of class variable or global variable. Standard default values. In Java, you are having this privilege. The system can consider, if you have only declared the data type, they will take the values as 0, and in some cases null character also. These are default values which is present in the system. If you have declared any data type and you are not assigning any values, then system will automatically take it. Wrapper classes. Why there is a need of wrapper classes? Yes, where primitive data types may be converted into object types by using wrapper classes contained in java.langs. Actually, when I am talking about wrapper classes, it is like a bridge from the basic data type to object, and object to basic data type. So when we are converting the basic data type into the corresponding data objects, we will have to use this data wrapper classes. And how you can identify the wrapper classes? Here, when I am talking about the wrapper classes, the initial letter is always capital. You can see here the initial letter is capital. Here we are converting primitive numbers to object numbers using constructor method. This is one of the example. Here we are using integer int value is equal to new integer. It means primitive integer to integer object, corresponding object. So as Java is only deals with object oriented language, so we are converting the primitive data types into corresponding object type, and vice versa by using the wrapper class. These are examples of how to convert from one data type to another data type, corresponding object data type, by using the wrapper class. You can see this. Then this is the comment section. When I am talking about the comment, there are three ways. The first one is single line comment. The second way is multi-line comment. In multi-line comment, you will get this particular operators that you will have to use for more than one line, and for single line you can use this two backslashes. And when I'm talking about the documentation comments, here you can use this kind of operators to represent the documentation comment. This is about the comment from the Java section. Now about the garbage collection. Garbage collection. Java does not have destructors as in C++. Java system has garbage collector and finalizer method for memory deallocation for any object. It means Java runtime system performs memory management automatically. Java uses constructor to initialize the object, and they do not have destructors. So in that place they are having the garbage collector. So finalizer method, what actually does? Finalizer releases the object special memory if it is not being used by the program. How we are using the finalizer method? We can use system.run finalization. This method forces the object's finalization on its finalize all objects that are waiting to be garbage collected. So this is the syntax of finalize method that is being used by the system. This is protected, prevent access to finalize by code defined outside its class. So finalize we are using, finalizer method we are using to, yes, it is behaving like a destructor as we were using in C++. Garbage collector, it is run by garbage collector of Java. A Java runtime environment deletes objects periodically when it determines that they are no longer being used. This process is called garbage collection. It means JRE, it deletes the objects periodically when it sees or when it determines that they are no longer being used in the process or program. So they are having automatic garbage collector if the object is not being used in the program and it is determined by the system itself, then there is garbage collector which releases that object and frees the memory. This is garbage collector. And when I am talking about the garbage collector, before an object gets garbage collector gives the object an opportunity to clean up itself through a call to object finalize method. Actually, garbage collector gives the opportunity to object also earlier to clean up itself through a call to objects finalize method. They can clean up theirself also by calling the finalize method. This is like destructors in C++. Running of garbage collector, how we can run the garbage collector? There is one syntax system.gc. We can ask garbage collector to run at any time by calling gc method of system class, and this is the syntax of garbage collector for running the garbage collector system.gc. So this is about garbage collection. When I am talking about garbage collector, you know how to release memory allocated with new. An object is eligible for garbage collection when there are no more references to that object. If it is not used continuously in the program for few hours, or if there is no reference of that object in the program, then that particular object is released by the garbage collector. And earlier they give us the opportunity also to the object to clean up their self by calling the finalize method. This is written here. They give us the opportunity to call the method by calling the finalize method. And running of garbage collector, after that we can ask garbage collector to run at any time by calling this gc method of system class. This is system.gc for calling the garbage collector. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like, then subscribe it, and keep watching my next video also for the for the next consecutive topics of the Java programming. Thank you so much again.